Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Karen Kozia Phillips. C News is live at noon.
And I'm Mr. Mohammed with sport.
Topping the news at this time, the Miscellaneous Provisions Marriage Bill was passed in the Senate. This was done so last evening with 23 voting for, none against, and 5 abstentions. Opposition Senators Wade Mark, Khadija Amin, Gerald Ramdeen, and Wayne Sturge abstained, along with Independent Senator Dr. Danish Mahabir. The bill seeks to increase the minimum age for marriage to 18 years across all sectors. And in winding up debate on the bill, Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi said the debate allowed for what people know what has been taking place in the country as it relates to child marriage over a period of time. He provided figures from 2016 saying there were 53 child brides and 1 child groom. From 1996 to 2016, there were 3,478 child marriages, with 3,404 of those being females. He explained why this debate was so important.
This debate is really about the voice of the child. Strip it any which way that you want. This debate is about the voice of the child. This debate is about equity of gender. This debate is about the harmonization of the laws of our democracy and not our theocracy. This law is seated in the fact that this is a secular society and not a religious society.
He went on to say it was very peculiar that the opposition had put 2 temporary senators advocating for the act to stay as it is, where children under the age of 18 are allowed to get married.
What I found rather unusual about that is that at no point in the opposition's contributions has there been a statement that the whip has been lifted and that this is a conscious debate. At no point in time, because under the party political system and the whip system that we operate on as a political democracy, there is a whip that operates on the government bench and on the opposition bench, and the independent bench is the only bench that really is not allowed the privilege of caucusing.
The Attorney General, however, did say he was happy to hear the contribution of Senator Wade Mark and his position that marriage between the ages of 16 and 18 should be permitted in certain circumstances, once there is parental consent, judicial involvement, counseling, and the child has a say. And in light of the passage of the Miscellaneous Provisions Marriage Bill, which was passed in the Senate last night, President of the Islamic Ladies Social and Cultural Association, Shalisa Khan Ali, said they are disturbed that the government failed to include exceptions in the bill. Mrs. Khan Ali, speaking to C News, said though the committee requested to meet with the Attorney General since last year, June, they only met with the AG's office on January 12th this year.
Trinidad and Tobago did not include any exceptions in this bill. The need for these exceptions were very clearly elucidated by the independent Senator Daneshwar Mahabir and some of the opposition senators. I have to state that in no circumstances does any Muslim rush to marry their children as teenagers. But sometimes some circumstances may arise, and that is shown that there were 103 such marriages.
Mrs. Khan Ali said over a 10-year period there were 103 marriages under 18, but they were only done in certain circumstances. There were no 12 or 13-year-olds being married. However, she is questioning, since the government is concerned about health risks associated with child marriages, what's going to happen to the 15,000 plus teenagers who were pregnant over the last decade.
Including serious health risks such as sexually transmitted infections, increase in HIV, premature pregnancy. What he has not told us, out of the 15,231 pregnancies between 2008 and 2015, how is he protecting those 15,231 children against these exactly same health risks?
You're watching the C News Live report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at CNews Live. To other news now, police are now investigating the discovery of a body found in a car in the vicinity of the racetrack in Santa Rosa. CNews understands the body of an East Indian male was found in a white Elantra sometime last night. It bore several chop wounds. The discovery of this body has taken the reported murder toll to 28. Chief Secretary Hopeful Watson Duke says he will have his day in court and share his side of the story, a side he said is the truth. This as he responded to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who said Mr. Duke should clear his name before wanting to hold public office. In 2016, Duke was slapped with 5 charges relating to an allegation of rape and indecent assault. As he spoke with CNews, he said he has been in public office for several years now as head of the Public Services Association, a body which represents some 80,000 workers. He again questioned the timing of the allegation.
This is the fact that I am innocent in all of this. Yet, the rest of society, the political society, seems hell-bent on making me guilty even before the trial. It seems as if there is a pre-trial already, and I'm just waiting now to be hung.
To the news now, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says state-owned enterprises have a critical role to play in the supply of economic goods and services in Trinidad and Tobago in an efficient and effective manner that will redound to the benefit of the entire nation. Speaking at the Ministry of Finance's annual State Board's Corporate Governance Seminar at the Hyatt Regency Hotel today, Dr. Rowley affirmed the government's commitment to addressing the performance issues of all state enterprises, defaulting and otherwise, and highlighted the need to re-examine corporate governance structures relating to the state sector. The Prime Minister also noted that appropriate laws, regulations and codes are needed, in addition to attitudinal changes to duties in order to address the challenges faced by the sector. Additionally, Dr. Rowley stressed that the timely submission of financial reports, whether audited or otherwise, is an uncompromising demand going forward. He said proper oversight and reporting, as well as eliminating opportunities for waste, abuse and corruption is necessary. Now here's a look at the weather forecast.
Look for cloudy skies across both islands at times, with a scattering of showers coming through, breaking up the sunshine as a low-level trough drifts into the Windward Islands. A lot of the moisture will remain, particularly pushing up from Guyana into Trinidad and Tobago. It will feel pleasant, no higher than 31 degrees Celsius. For mariners heading out, those north-northeasterly swells will shift more to the east-northeast, shortening to 8 seconds, but still expect choppy seas of 2.5 meters to the Caribbean and the Atlantic, with northeasterly winds of 15 to 20 knots. So seabathers are still asked to exercise extreme caution, says the Meteorological Service. Low tide at 2:30 p.m. is followed by a high tide at 8 p.m. That is the latest weather, and I am meteorologist Ian Wallace.
Well, the National Trade Union Centre is standing by their call for the chairman of Angostura, Dr. Rolf Balgobin, to be removed and has started an online petition with this in mind. General Secretary of the Union, Michael Anisette, reminds that Mr. Balgobin is a government-appointed director and chairman on the boards of CL Financial Limited and Angostura Holdings Limited.
Question of the protection of women in the workplace is a fundamental issue. It's an issue of human rights. It's an issue of good governance. It's an issue of ethical behavior. It's an issue of the dignity of women in Trinidad and Tobago. And we are taken up by the conspicuous silence on the part of the government to remove the chairman of Angostura in light of the serious allegations that has been made against him.
He notes in a release on Wednesday that there are questions over the transparency, equity and fairness that immediately arise in allowing Dr. Balgobin to remain as chairman, while an active investigation is being conducted into allegations of such a grave nature against him. This, he says, is even more crucial given the newspaper article having reported that directors on the board of Angostura Holdings Limited hold polarized views on the initial handling of the complaint.
Person, and that person is allowed to continue in the environment like if nothing happens. That sends the wrong signal to the general population, and we are calling on the government. We are calling on the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago to take this issue on board so that we'll treat our women with respect and women will be able to work in any environment harassment-free.
Well, NATUC has initiated an online petition with respect to the chairman of Angostura Holdings, Dr. Ralph Balgobin, and is asking the public to sign it as a sign of active protest. The Ministry of Works and Transport will meet with Uber today to discuss the way forward as it relates to the taxi service operating in this country. The information was revealed by Minister Rohan Sinanan, who said the meeting is targeted at discussing the legalities of Uber operating in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, the online taxi app was officially launched in this country on Monday. However, shortly after, the ministry released a circular which questioned the legality of the service. According to this country's road laws, no vehicle is permitted to conduct taxi services without first attaining a taxi permit through the licensing division. In some carnival news now, well, call them the dynamic duo Raymond Ramnarine and Umadat Maharaj. Well, they've been blazing the airwaves and mashing up fetes with not one but two of their collaborations this carnival season, Balkisoon and Ram Singh. The vibrant duo paid a visit to our CNews studios and spoke to Sherilyn Lewis about their music for Carnival 2017.
It's one of the songs for Carnival 2017 that's been on our lips and one that's also been doing well in the feds. Umadat Maharaj and Raymond Ramnarine said their love for originality led them to create the mega hit Balkisoon, which Umadat came up with on a whim.
Richard and Raymond, they pulled me in the cold room, and it happened from there. And Devanan was a huge success.
Yeah, boy.
All over Guyana. In Guyana.
It was like the anthem in Guyana.
Yeah.
Honest to God. Yeah.
And then Balkisoon came along. I mean, well, when your heart is clean, the Lord and Master does send.
Yes.
They send music to you.
I believe in that.
Yes, man. Yes.
And then he said, Ray, what you think? I said, boy, you see that? What's his name? What's his name again? He said, Balkisoon. I said, yes. That's the man.
Yeah.
And from there on, man, we just went down to the studio. He sang like the chorus. I told him just sing a piece of the chorus, sing a piece of the verse. Then I went home with my keyboards and my computer, started doing the music. Sent it for him. He was like, Ray, can't wait. We went down to Backyard Studios. My brother Richard, he did the rhythm and stuff.
For Umadat, this season seems to be going well, as he has also been selected to compete in the Ultimate Chutney Challenge.
I mean, the top 10 artists in Trinidad, with among Sambodram and Rakesh Shankaran and the Rani. I mean, it's an amazing feeling to be a part of that. You know what I mean? At least you say have an original song. Ring Bang is an original song. Yes. And to enter this, I mean, it's a huge success for me in just entering that alone. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Me want to really win, but to just be there. I mean, everybody want to win, but just to be amongst these people is amazing.
The duo has collaborated on 3 songs thus far, Devanan, Balkisoon and Ram Singh, which was released less than 2 weeks ago, and they are looking forward to performing it at CSM and in FETS together.
Yeah.
Ram Singh Sharma, the village ram from Sawa. He have a wife and he day with the sister. They buy a visa to take him to Canada. One give him house, one give him a motor car. They give him money to drink the rum. Sometimes he just gamble and till the money done. Ram Singh Sharma, the village ram from Sawa.
Sherilyn Lewis, CNews.
Well, I'm not sure if she knows Ram Singh, but Nasira is here with sports to tell us what's coming up next.
I certainly do not know of any Ram Singh from San Juan, but I do know that the search is still on for a national football coach, and I'll have the details on that and much more. This country's all-time leading goal scorer and member of the 2006 World Cup team, Stern John, says the TTFA's second appointment in the space of less than 2 months to the position of senior men's head coach needs to be sorted out soon. John says the association and players alike need to get its house in order if we are to save the current World Cup campaign. Like former national player Stern John, Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs Daryl Smith says he supports the appointment of a homegrown national team coach and would also like to see that announcement be made soon as it has already been almost 1 week since Feet left.
At this time, it's critical. We have a few weeks to those two crucial games, Panama and Mexico, and we need to make a decision quickly whichever way, but whoever is the best man for the job, I hope TTFA makes the right choice. But I think personally that we have enough talent coming from the pool of coaches, that we have qualified coaches to get somebody at this point in time to relate to our culture and to know the players, because we need somebody that can move quickly.
And the world's oldest football trophy, the English FA Cup, was in Trinidad and Tobago from Monday evening and departed this morning for its next tour stop. The visit is part of a Caribbean tour in collaboration with Flow and current holders of the title, Manchester United, which is one of the competition's most successful clubs with 12 wins. One of those wins directly involved former TNT captain Dwight Yorke, who won it in 1999 in Manchester United's famous treble-winning season. And another former marksman, Stern John, says that history should never be forgotten.
It's great. I think for Dwight, he won the FA Cup, probably the only player in the Caribbean to lift the FA Cup. I think it doesn't get any better than that. I think Dwight is one of those players, a world-class player. The year when they won the treble, he was able to lift the FA Cup, and I think it is one of the moments that you'll cherish for the rest of your life.
While John himself never won the prestigious title, he says that it is an honor just to be able to see it close up.
It means a lot to me. I think we all know the FA Cup is one of the most prestigious trophy that you'll play for. Probably the second biggest trophy in the world, apart from the World Cup. But I think as a player, playing in numerous FA Cup games and never had the opportunity to lift the FA Cup, I think having it in Trinidad is massive. I think it's probably the closest I've been to the FA Cup or lifting the FA Cup was today. I got an opportunity to touch it, and I think as a player, you cherish those moments. Or you never get to win it, but just being in the same room with the FA Cup is a great feeling.
Certainly a historic moment for football fans here. Well, circle the date, January 28th on your calendar if you're a fan of the sweet science. A pro-am fight card is coming to Irwin Park, Siparia, where two locals will contest the WBC's Central American Federation of Professional Boxing lightweight heavyweight title. The dreadlocked Nigel Edwards, with a record of 8 wins and 1 draw, will represent North Trinidad against Siparia's very own Sheldon Lawrence, boasting a record of 8 wins and 1 defeat.
A new initiative that the WBC is in this region and they are here to stay. We're here to stay in both the amateurs and in the professional ranks. On the 28th of this month, in Siparia, you would have the Pride of Siparia go up against the Pride of Port of Spain. This is going to be a north-south thing.
And of course, a fight card can't be launched without the fighters dishing out some words to one another.
My opponent here, Nigel Edwards, you can see he's a bit stricken in age. Look like a pensioner. How would I let a pensioner beat me? I feel good going into this fight.
He had to prove to me that he could beat me in the ring. Because when I talk about pensioner and pensioner, there are history about pensioner and beating younger boxers.
And that was your sport for today.
That's the CNews report at noon. I'm Karen Kozia-Philip.
And I'm Nasira Mohammed.
Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, you can visit the CNews website at ctvtt.com. Do have a good afternoon.